We've just heard from Scott about Derby Council's approach using the multi-hog machine, and I'm now joined by James Harper, team leader for highways and out-of-hours operations at City of Stoke-on-Trent Council, to discuss their approach. Like myself, James is previously a star of the One Show. Highway celebrities are clearly the new rock and roll. Hi James, thanks for joining us today.
Hello.
So just a few questions really, James, about your approach with the JCB Pothole Pro. Can you give us a bit of background into how and why you decided to invest in the Pothole Pro?
Yeah, so similarly to obviously what Scott, we've got a big, I think we were struggling really to repair the large patches, medium to large. You think we're still quite traditional, man with steel saw, breaker, taking our potholes out. So anything other than a standard pothole, our teams are really struggling, and we'd have to get inexpensive contractors to obviously come and repair our network.
Okay. They're quite a considerable investment, aren't they? How did you secure the funding for it? And do you think it'll take a long time to pay that back?
Yeah, thankfully our fleet managers worked a good deal for us to have the JCB, and no, we're pretty confident it'll pay itself back, say quite quickly through the work it's doing. It's enabling us to, bid for external work as well. So we've won quite a lot of contracts, car parks, large surface areas. Now we've got the machine, so it's helping generate some income for us as well.
Great. So what could you say the benefits have been for the council? You've got improvements in efficiency, I suppose, and customer satisfaction.
Yeah, the efficiencies of we've gone from like numbers that weren't really good to say, shall we say, brag about, to numbers that we're quite pleased to put out there. Like say, currently we're since 2nd of July, not too far long ago, in 57.25 days. So I'm just looking at the numbers, make sure I get them right. We've done 4,921 square meters of say patches, large scale potholes, repaired. And if you think traditionally, if you're working on the national average of 10 square a day, it's like 540 odd days to repair, what we've currently done in 57 days. So I think them numbers for a city where it's always been predominantly traditional hand methods, I think, there's not anything we can grumble at. So we're getting a lot of positive feedback from residents, because obviously, seeing a pothole, but doing a large scale patch, it's more visible for them. And we're getting quite a lot of saying, when's a pothole pro coming in my ward, my street? The local councillors are all on board. They all want to see the pothole pro in their street, to have the photo with it. So to be fair, that side is kind of taking over from the actual work, really, is the positive feedback and people wanting to see the machine in action, wanting to see it on their road. So I know the girls on the front line, they're fielding quite a lot of calls saying, when's this magic JCB machine coming to my street? So that's turning into be a bit more of a monster to manage than the actual workload for the machine.
Right, yeah. I suppose you mentioned handwork there. I suppose the positive of that is it's taking away things like using breakers and arm vibration and things like that. Must be a benefit.
Yeah, so we obviously, all our crews obviously got React watches on, and the numbers for them have dropped significantly to almost near zero, really. Instead of using the traditional two-stroke breakers, steel saws, so the numbers have gone down quite considerably, and we're just letting the machine do all the back-breaking work really now. So our lads are enjoying the rest, should we say, until it comes to tarmacking the areas back in.
Great. So from the point of view of the council, what would be more attractive to you guys? Would it be the increase in volume of repairs you can do in a shift, so basically lay more asphalt, or doing the same amount of work quicker with less labour? What do you think gives Stoke the best return on investment, really, James?
Probably getting the large scale areas that say we struggle with, or the ones under traffic management. Say we can just get in and out now a lot quicker, and people moan about the potholes say being there, but they'll moan about the traffic lights being there. So if we can get them both done quicker and then move on to the next one, So, the machine goes out and does, medium scale repairs. And then at night it does all the large scale ones on traffic sensitive roads. So really, we get quite a lot of compliments saying, we haven't seen you do this repair. So, we're on and off the network quite a lot easier, and say, the machine is doing, the large scale works for us really.
Carrying a lot less kit around, I suppose, as well.
Yeah. And we're not having to, send a lot of, when we used to have a large patch, it used to be quite a, gang heavy or subcontractor heavy. Now, we're sending, our hot box, and then the Portal Pro, and then just one team to follow it. And then, so the reduction in staff as well over a large patch.
Great. So I suppose talk about saving on kit really there. I suppose in a way this is a bit like a Swiss Army knife, this machine, isn't it? You're carrying everything with you. Could it be further developed, do you think, to maybe some developments in attachments, like something to compact the asphalt with, for instance, a roller attachment or a vibrating sort of whacker plate that could remove another hand-arm vibration area from the process, and maybe optimize health and safety and productivity even more in the future?
Yeah, definitely. Speaking, obviously, I can't speak too much about it, but there is development things going on behind the scenes with JCB, and some of the stuff there will be game changing, say, for the asphalt industry. To me, the machine is sold as like a Swiss Army, but I appreciate you can't do everything with one machine. But for our purposes in Stoke, loading gritters, ditching works, dig downs, repairing the network, and then obviously the other stuff is coming online. To us, it is the perfect machine. As you can appreciate, probably quite a lot of people used to have mini diggers in their fleet, 360s and then 3CXs, load alls. So we've, managed to reduce some of that higher costs or on costs, try and, fit the machine to do all them bills. So at the moment, it's doing everything it can, and the stuff that I've seen in the pipeline that JCB have got, it is looking really promising. Like you say, some of the stuff, they're quite keen to, remove everything from the operative and have the machine, do the backbreaking stuff. So, the stuff that we're working on is really promising.
Yeah, I think thinking about pothole repairs, the most frustrating thing probably for the public is when they see the same pothole filled several times, isn't it? And if it's a way of improving compaction, maybe getting more compactive effort in there with a machine rather than a whacker or something like that, there's got to be a good thing, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Let the machine say put the pressure down, and unfortunately somebody either sitting on a ride-on or a pedestrian roll.
Yeah, and the ride-on, you've got the extra plant to move it around, haven't you, and things like that as well, and extra carbon, I suppose, to extra vehicles and things like that as well. Are there any limitations, do you think, to the system, or is there a sort of a optimal size of patch before you say that okay, we got to actual paver laid surfacing now, sort of thing?
Say towards obviously a standard pothole, you're talking 400 by 400. We wouldn't send the machine to go do that. Obviously, it's perfectly capable of doing that, but our teams with the vehicle, obviously they can flirt about doing emergencies a lot quicker. So we go from like the medium up to the large. Say tonight we're starting a car park 998 square meters. So you think we're a 600 mil planer, but there's nothing we've come across, at the moment where, obviously getting a big paver in, it's time saving, but we don't have the luxury of, having that costs, to get, a big Barber Green in. So at the moment, we're just doing everything with the machine, yeah. But if you've got a contractor on board and they've got a proper paver, then fair enough. But we're doing at the moment no, but I'm sure there will come a time where we think, what can we do differently?
It's optimizing that reactive work, isn't it? Really, it's making that efficient.
But say what people don't appreciate. Yeah, the machine is great for us, but it's the train behind. Without that train, the hot box, the men, they say the ride-on roller, or everybody always just sees, and everybody I speak to, councillor-wise or public-wise, they just see the machine. It's not everything behind it. So it's been a bit education to try and say to them, there is this train that, the Pothole Pro looks good, and once that leaves site, it's still got, you know, the poor people behind it putting the asphalt back in.
Yes.
It's still them there.
And that's where, you know, you've still got to keep the quality control, haven't you, really, with the,
Yeah, definitely.
say, the compaction and the bond coating there and all that kind of thing.
But, you know, I don't think I'll be the only, say, manager in highways that would know this. You know, varying teams we had, you know, would do potholes slightly differently. And I'd say quite a lot of the time, the depth probably might not be there over like a few teams. So what we are getting now is that consistent repair of down to the mill we want. And saying them, you know, we'll compact it with a ride-on roller.
Yeah, great. Is there anything from Derby's approach, the stuff that Scott was talking about, like the multi-hog type of approach that he outlined, you think might be used to improve things further at Stoke?
I think we're a lot earlier in the stage. I think Scott's quite further on in the stage than he's got there, but you know that's where we want to get. Say he's gone the multi-hog route, fair enough to him. We've gone the JCB route. I don't think there's pluses and minuses in both. I don't think there's any thing, but you know I've spoke to Scott and you know share best practices, and I think if we can mirror what their end goal is. Say also he's got bigger equipment. You know, that might be something we look at instead of using our 7.5-ton vehicles. So we go to 18-ton vehicles, try and get, you know, the asphalt out and then back in. But yeah, I suppose you can always learn off other people that are further down the line. But yeah.
Okay. Well, that's been really interesting, James. Thanks very much. We've got a question and answer session later, so people can get to you in the live debate. Anything I've overlooked, I'm sure you'll get asked. So thanks for your time today. That was great. Thanks, James.
No problem. Thank you.